Q&A number 11. Love doing these. We got a lot of follow-up questions to what we went over last time, so we're going to expand a little bit from some questions that came up following the 10th Q&A. So first one, why should I breathe through my nose instead of my mouth? Quite simply, that was what we are supposed to be breathing through. Our nose is going to be our primary breathing vessel, and our mouth is going to be for speaking and chewing. Beyond that, our nose is kind of our first line of defense. So as we take in particles in the air, our nose has, it's kind of the ability to filtrate that. So what you're taking in doesn't directly go into your lungs, where if you're mouth breathing, everything goes straight into your lungs. Secondly, it warms up and humidifies the air, which is super beneficial. And then also from the impact on your nervous system, mouth breathing is going to be more upregulating, more sympathetic, more flight, and getting you essentially just ready for anything that's going to be stressful or inducing stress. And then parasympathetic is going to be the down regulation, and that's going to be nose breathing. And what that does is that's like your rest, your digest, your relax. Cognitively, if you need to do something important mentally, you're going to be able to think more clearly by breathing through your nose. Also, we just live in a chronically stressed environment now. So using the opportunity to use your breathing through your nose to help bring yourself down from that, it's going to give you ability to see more clearly. It's going to give you an edge in training because you're able to go to a higher place because you're starting from a lower place. Super, super beneficial. Next question. Follow-up question to the breathing. I really struggle with nose breathing. What are the progressions to progress through to get better at it? First off, I would say anytime that you are aware of your breathing, make sure you're breathing through your nose. So plenty of opportunities to work on that. If you work at a desk on a computer, as most people do, that's a great time to be breathing through your nose. And if you're aware of it, really try to do just nose breathing. Same deal goes for anytime you're in the car, watching TV, doing anything where you're essentially, your body's at rest, breathe through your nose. From there, the next way to progress that or add a little bit of stress or stimulus to this would be to go for a walk and maintain nose breathing. You might notice, depending on where you're at with this, that might be really challenging. So I would start with, if you can, doing it on flat ground or downhill, which would be easier than going uphill. And then once you're going uphill, you may have to slow down your pace to stay nose breathing. Otherwise, you're going to have to open your mouth. Like all other things, your body will adapt to this. So I would absolutely say try to stay nose breathing and let yourself slow down. Once that becomes easier, then what I would do is you can start adding in things like nose only during your warm-up. So again, maybe it takes you a little bit longer on some things, like if you're going to row or you're going to bike to warm up, and you're going to do a certain amount of calories, maybe it takes you a little bit longer to complete that because you're at a slower pace maintaining nose breathing. If you do that every single time, soon enough though, you're going to be right back to the faster pace that you were originally, nose only, which then gives you the advantage of being able to open your mouth and take off. So from a performance standpoint, it has huge benefits. Once that becomes easier, then what you can do is you can start incorporating breath holds. Cool thing with breath holds is it's an easy way to add in a stimulus where you don't need anything to challenge yourself. So often if we're doing house chores and I'm doing laundry, our laundry's in the basement. We have the first floor and then the second floor, so many stairs to get upstairs, bringing laundry from downstairs to upstairs. I will nose breathe as I'm doing chores, and then to challenge myself, I'll go I'll do a breath hold from the basement all the way to the top of the stairs. But I have to, in order to win, I have to return to nose breathing only. I cannot open my mouth and take a breath. So different ways you can do that. Biggest thing though would be absolutely at rest, make sure you're breathing through your nose. How do I stay full in a calorie deficit? This is a good question because it really helps with adherence. The biggest thing I'd bring up first in relation to that is there's a lot of research that's come out that talks about the amount of sleep you've gotten as it relates to being able to adhere to staying in a calorie deficit. So I'll get more into obviously like ways that you can stay a little bit more full, but I would make sure that you're getting adequate sleep. If you're not getting adequate sleep, you're basically swimming against the current. which is why like new parents, shift workers, things like that, they have a harder time with this. Not that it's an excuse, but it's something to be very aware of, and it may help you get to bed a little bit earlier. Other ways to stay full, make sure you're hydrated. Often we'll eat because we are simply thirsty, so make sure you're staying hydrated. And then eating lower calorie or lower calorically dense foods will make a big difference, especially being that it's winter, at least here in New England. Something to focus on with that is like soups and stews. Very brothy, so you're getting a liquid intake, full of veggies, protein. That's an easy way to get a lot of volume without a lot of calories, and you're still getting your protein. Super easy way to do that. Watermelon, I think it's 120 or 130 calories for a pound of watermelon. So using things like that, you're gonna be able to eat a lot more, chew a lot more, and it's gonna help you be essentially more fulfilled and therefore more likely to sustain your calorie deficit as you're looking to lose body fat. I let other people's needs take more importance over my own and don't get in training as a result. How can I create better boundaries? Yeah, this is a very good question because it happens for a lot of people. Biggest thing would be, if you can, be the example for other people. So instead of waiting for other people to create the perfect opportunity for you to train, create some boundaries, have discussions with your partner or your kids, and basically say like, hey, this is what I need. I really need these 3 sessions a week for an hour. What would be like the best times for me to get into that? And that makes it a little bit more of an informed decision for the whole family. Plus it starts to set the boundaries of, hey, this is what I'm gonna be doing here, and basically I'm off limits. Second thing is make sure it's scheduled, and if it can be consistent, that makes it easier for you to adhere to, makes it easier for you to be able to eat in accordance with, your training time, but also it sets expectations for other people. Mom, dad, whoever is busy during that time, and it's just they're unavailable for me for anything else. I'd say those are definitely the biggest things. And then also find accountability, whether it's through a coach or whether it's with training partners. Simply having, somebody be waiting for you at a gym or coming over to your house to train together is going to make it so much easier to basically make sure you show up. There's an added layer. You're letting somebody else down instead of just putting it all on you. And that will make a big difference. I have a lot of remote clients who simply, and they'll tell me this repeatedly, like, hey, I wouldn't have done this had I not, if there wasn't the accountability of you knowing that I did or didn't do my work. So again, having that accountability buddy makes a big difference. Moving on, what do we have here? Water intakes. You said half body weight in ounces. Does sparkling water count? Yeah, sparkling water definitely counts. So unless you're very overweight, half your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you'd aim to drink 100 ounces of water. I'd say all liquid barring alcohol can count towards that. Tea, coffee, sparkling water, anything else really beyond that, I would put towards your water intake. And again, if that seems like holy shit, you want me to do that? You don't need to go from drinking 0 water today to going full send and then trying to get all of this tomorrow. You can graduate this. So if you need to get 100 ounces and you're finding out now that you're aware of this, that you're drinking 32 ounces in a day, try to add 8 ounces each day, or 8 ounces every other day, and slowly build in that regard. And like training, your body will adapt to this, and you won't be going to the bathroom every 4 minutes for the next 24 hours. Let's see. I shifted my training with my coach and I am incredibly sore. What's the best way to alleviate this? If it's like soreness that's crushingly debilitating, I would talk to your coach. Maybe it's too much volume. Maybe there's some people who are out there just to make you sore, simply to make you sore, which is not cool, nor is that productive. If it's just because you switched focus and now you haven't been squatting as much and you're squatting twice a week or something like that, then I would absolutely get in some extra movement, up your NEAT, your non-exercise activity, go for a walk. And then honestly, the positions that made you sore are gonna be the movements you're gonna wanna go back to help alleviate that. So I know when your legs are super sore, your adductors are super sore, it hurts to sit on the toilet, the last thing you want to do is squat. I might go for a walk so the body's temperature comes up a little bit, and I might hit a couple sets of air squats. You can even hold on to something as you get down there. But just slowly ease yourself through the position that made you sore. Bulgarian split squats will often leave me with the feels the next day. I'll come out and I'll hit some unweighted split squats while I'm warming up and doing other things. And it just gives me the freedom to then get back into the positions or to not be encumbered when I go to train later in the following day or 2 days later. That's a good question. I go to CrossFit and can't do a pull-up. The coaches want me to kip, but it makes me nervous. Should I? In my opinion, no, you shouldn't. And the fact that you're nervous is actually a pretty good thing. In my opinion, you should be able to do at least a couple of strict pull-ups before getting into kipping. If you're getting into kipping, so kipping would basically be, for those that don't know, you're hanging from a pull-up bar, and instead of just pulling yourself up, you're using a big swing of your body to help propel yourself up and over the bar. It's a very technical movement. It can help you do a lot of pull-ups or kipping pull-ups. But there's also inherent danger if you don't have the adequate strength to be able to be in that position in the first place. So my take would be go banded, do jumping pull-ups, things that are going to be a lot safer on your shoulders until you build the strength. And then from there you can work on the skill of kipping because it is definitely a skill. All right, last question. Are you doing push-ups? Are you doing push-ups before doing these videos? You look like you're getting bigger. Nope, didn't do any push-ups. Ate an enormous lunch before coming out here. And in fact, actually, I'm in the let's get fat over the holidays season of working on getting stronger, gaining a little body weight. So if I do look a little bigger or like I've gained a little size, awesome. And then come January, when the rest of the world is doing a calorie deficit or running hot on their new resolutions, I am also building out a challenge for other people if they want to join me on this. I'm going to go into a calorie deficit because we're going on a surf trip in February, and it's nice to feel lean, feel good in my skin. But my version is I want to get strong. I want to put on a little muscle mass, and really the only way that I can do that, or anybody can do that, is in a calorie surplus. So I need to be making sure I'm eating. So getting a little fluffier this holiday season, which, don't call me crazy, lets me enjoy the holidays a little bit more, knowing that it's going to come to an end. I'm not going to punish myself, but I'm going to use my calories as a tool to be able to get into a calorie deficit, lose a little bit of body fat, maybe see some abs, and go from there. So if you're in that camp, feel free to join me coming this January. I'll have a lot more information about this too, but it's going to be a good time, and it lets you enjoy the holidays and not fear it, and then not punish yourself in January, but make informed decisions that then you'll have the knowledge for the rest of your life as to how to do that, which really alleviates a lot of long-term anxiety. So that's it for Q&A number 11. Thank you guys for watching this. I absolutely love the comments I get, the feedback I get. It makes me really enjoy doing this. So love you guys. Thank you.